Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order, Shrewsbury Conservation Commission. First item is to review and approve minutes, which I do not think we have any.
Minutes.
Next item is to sign bills.
We have one bill for the community advocate. I'll hop into the third item, reappointments and appointments, while you guys sign. The CPC, the Community Preservation Committee, has asked for either a appointment of a new chair. Good gracious, I apologize. The CPC has requested either the appointment of a new commission member or the reappointment of Diane, should she so choose to reappoint herself. I don't know if she's prepared for a reappointment.
Does it
Diane?
require a motion?
Yeah, you
Would
good?
like to serve
On
that?
CPC? Okay.
She is willing to
Can
serve.
I get a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that Diane be
Appointed.
reappointed for the CPC representative for the Conservation Commission.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
And then I have a
Congratulations.
secondary,
Well done.
secondary appointment request for the Master Plan Steering Committee. This letter was included in your, the Google Drive this month. The Planning Board has requested that a member of the commission be appointed for the Master Plan Steering Committee. This will help, they're creating a new master plan that will cover the next several years. They've just started that process, so they're looking for input from Concom on how to bring the town all together for that. I don't know if there's anyone who's particularly inclined to join the Master Plan Steering Committee.
Anybody here willing?
Well, I think the person who's not here with it is awesome at it, but can we vote on it next month, or does it have to be done this month?
With the absence of Bob, I don't know if he had an opportunity to review
Yeah,
if the master
he
plan.
didn't get back to you either.
Yeah, he did
Can I
not.
just ask some questions?
Yeah.
Do you know how the period of time that this committee will meet? I mean, how long it might meet? 6 months, 3 years?
It definitely will be a shorter period of time. I cannot imagine it will be a multi-year commitment. They are trying to, they've hired an exterior consultant to kind of work to help to use our previous iteration of the master plan and town input and different board input to kind of bring it all together. So
You know how frequently they meet?
Yeah, next question.
I do not. I will get those answers to you, though, for next month. So then, yeah, we'll have the opportunity to include Bob as well. And then I'll have a determination of how long they anticipate this committee will stay together and how often they anticipate meeting.
Right, that sounds good.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Is that it for reappointments and appointments?
That sure is.
Okay, on to meetings and hearings.
We have a new hearing. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Shrewsbury Wetlands Bylaw and Regulations that Peter Phillips, 19 Forest Avenue, Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, has filed a request for determination of applicability for the removal of 2 trees at 19 Forest Avenue.
Is there somebody here? And you are?
I am Peter Phillips, both on 19 and 23 Forest Ave.
And Mr. Phillips, what would you like to do?
I have 2 very old pine trees, maybe 75 feet tall, that are very old and very brittle. Both of them have stress cracks and are a danger to both houses, and I'd like to have them removed. Since they're on the property line, I'd also like to see if I can take them, grind down the stumps and repair the fence that's there.
There's a fence next to the trees.
Yeah, it's probably a 20-year-old fence that's been damaged by them. The root system is just destroying the fence.
And these are on your property?
It's Edgemere. I've never had it surveyed. It's close. I would guess that 90% on 19, just as a guess. There was an iron pipe there, but I've never had it surveyed.
Are you planning on planting anything else?
I was not going to.
Okay. Emily?
I do not have any questions, although I'd be amenable to seeing something be planted, whether or not it's a tree, but
There are a row of bushes on the other side that I maintain on 23 that are right up against the fence.
But that's it for me.
Diane?
Well, so usually, especially so close to the lake, we'd be asking for you to either keep the stumps up high, like up to 10 feet high,
Yep.
as habitat, or to replant. And it sounds like you do not want to put in trees.
I mean, as far as 19, there's probably 9 feet between the house and the property line there. And 23,
I was going to suggest that maybe
20 feet maybe. There's just not a lot of room for new trees. I mean, there are bushes there, and I'm just fearful of putting more trees there.
Diane,
Well-
what'd you think about putting some trees? You own 23 as well, right?
Yes, correct, right now.
Could he put it at the adjacent property? If there's more room there?
Sure, I mean, you'd have to remove some bushes a little bit and plant some trees there, but you could probably get something in there.
Oh.
Something hopefully that doesn't grow as tall.
Yeah, it doesn't have to
Or would
grow.
there
Yeah.
be an
If you
opportunity to
look at the
install
picture, they were overhanging both houses. If these
additional
come down,
shrubs instead of?
they're on both houses, one of the two houses.
Go ahead. And you all set, Diane?
Yeah, so if you're replanting trees, they would be native trees. And we have an entire list of them. There are a lot of trees. You
Sure.
can make sure that you're getting one that gets the right kind of sunlight or that doesn't get too tall.
Yep, that's what I
Right.
prefer, yep.
Yeah.
Can we just do one there, maybe, instead of two?
We would usually go for a 1-for-1,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Perhaps that he could do some type of a tree in a smaller bush or something.
So,
There's a
so,
list of, right?
yeah, I mean, there are a lot of reasons why the trees, one thing is that they, for one thing, they help cool the water. And I
understand,
know
yeah,
that
yeah,
that sounds
yeah.
silly, but they really do. And that's important. But another thing is that they're habitat for a lot of different invertebrates and insects and ultimately for birds and other things. And when
Fully
you take them
understand, I've been on the
away.
lake for 40 years.
Yeah, okay, so it matters. There are some shrubs
Yeah, all right.
that
So
are
as long as I have a
extremely
list to choose from, I'll put them on 23. I don't know what kind of shrubs are there, they're nothing fancy, but I would have to carve a little space there to fit them in.
And they are available. You can get them at local nurseries that are native shrubs if you want to go that
Yeah, I'd
way.
prefer to that than leaving a stump 6 or 8 feet high like they
Yep.
recommended in the past.
Yeah. So there's a list that's available for all of this.
Yeah, I should be able to email that over.
Okay, that's great, excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Chris, we're not done.
Oh,
We're not done yet. Chris,
No questions for me.
Leah,
I don't think I have anything additional.
anybody from the audience? Okay, would somebody like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we issue a negative determination with respect to this request contingent upon 2 plantings to replace 2 trees from the list from the conservation agent.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
does that need to be inspected later on? Does she have to come visit
Just,
Yeah, I can come take a look.
at some point? Yeah, okay, I'll let you know. Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, this next one has been continued. It's from the Lake Quinsigamon Commission, but we may be issuing an emergency certificate related to this because there's a tree that has fallen into the lake and it's impeding navigation. So we have a meeting with the Lake Commission next week, and if they vote to pay the fee to remove the tree, we'd like to get it done sooner than later, so that's the backstory to this one. All right, we have a continued public meeting regarding the request for determination of applicability from Zain Syed, 3 Deerfield Road, Shrewsbury, for the removal of trees at 3 Deerfield Road. Is there anybody here regarding this?
Keep it open for the meeting, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think he's shown up, or they've shown up to the past two
yeah.
meetings that this has been on the agenda, so.
They usually contact me a couple of days after the meeting
Oh,
to ask if there was an approval provided. I have informed them that someone needs to be present to tell us about the hearing
okay,
in order for us to issue
Okay.
anything.
okay.
And there's other ways they can attend
Yes,
virtually, too.
I have provided the virtual attendance thing, so.
Nobody's online, right?
So,
No, I think it's just me and Shrewsbury Media Connection.
Okay.
so maybe give them one more opportunity to
Yeah.
come next meeting, and if they don't come to the next meeting, perhaps we'll just close it. Is that something we
fine.
could consider,
Yeah.
correct?
I think that's fine, yeah.
Okay. All right. Would you like to?
Yeah, I'll announce the next one. I'm just making my notes.
Yep.
We have a continued public hearing regarding the request for determination of applicability filed by Mitchell Drivetrain Service, 384 Hartford Turnpike, Shrewsbury, for the after-the-fact approval of removal of trees, regrading, and laying of asphalt millings at 50 Clue Street. Is anyone here for this hearing?
This applicant had indicated that they might be absent,
Yeah.
but they hadn't confirmed that solidly, so I wanted to
Okay.
give them the opportunity
So
to
we'll-
present.
Okay.
We will
see.
keep it open for the meeting if they could show up late. We have another new hearing. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Shrewsbury Wetlands Bylaw and regulations that Michael Liberty, on behalf of Lake Quinsigamon Commission, 100.
No.
That we continue.
Oh, that's the one we continued, sorry, apologize. Just make sure.
2041.
The last one. First page, last one.
This should be it, right? So notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Shrewsbury Wetlands Bylaw and regulations that Erica Larner, on behalf of Mass DOT, 10 Park Plaza, Room 7360, Boston, Mass., has filed a request to amend the order of conditions for roadway improvements, including roadway reconstruction and widening and construction of a shared use path along Route 20 from the South Street connector to Route 9 connector.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You may have to join the meeting to present, or alternatively, I can present.
Do you want to just present? We can look at page 25 of that packet I sent for the request for amended order.
Oh, boy.
So that's the mitigation area.
Yeah, it's a big document, so it's being crabby about it.
Which firm are you guys from?
H&TB.
We need to upgrade our internet package.
We're loading and we're loading. I'll see if I can pull up the downloaded version quicker.
I mean, I can talk over it while then we can
That's,
see
yeah,
if
I
that
think
works.
if we can provide introductions, then we'll switch
Sure.
into it and I'll see what
All right,
loads.
so I'm Marissa Seifert from H&TB.
Kevin Thompson with Massachusetts Department of Transportation. And I'm Colin White from HNTB.
So we're making a request for an amended order of conditions for a revised mitigation area, which was updated during our permitting process for 404 and 401 to compensate for impacts to an IVW that we previously identified in our wetland delineation report. So the changes to the plans are kind of as follows. As you can see here, we have an expanded mitigation area. It was initially 4,264 square feet. It's now 6,539 square feet. We also have additional temporary impacts to the adjacent wetland here to compensate for the added erosion controls on the border of the wetland. Yeah, here. That's most of the extended area in that lower frame there. And the temporary impacts associated with that erosion and sediment control there. However, there's no change to the rest of the project. Everything is consistent with what you guys had previously approved.
Okay. Is that it? Emily?
I guess where on Route 20, like a locus is this? Yeah.
It's, if you go to sheet 16 on there, you can kind of get a better view. I think there might be a better idea of where the roads are. It's all kind of connected where it was originally. We just had to expand it, yeah. So like that lobe there is that new
Adjacent-ish to
area.
824 Hartford, or is that,
About.
okay,
Yeah.
That is 824.
okay.
Right next to it is 864, which I believe is a CJ Trucking,
Mhm.
something like that.
So there's South Street and then the vacant parcel that's mostly wetland, and then 864, which is the trucking company to the south side of Route 20.
And that's right next to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes.
You know that one?
That's better landmark, yeah.
There you go.
The only New England landmark.
I know exactly where it is.
So-
But this is just additional mitigation, so I don't have any questions.
Okay, Diane,
No, I do not have any questions.
Chris,
No questions from me.
Aaliyah.
Will this update any of the kind of approved, the changes that were, or, I'm sorry. My brain just simply will not engage today. In
The
the order
impact
of
numbers?
conditions. The impact and the restoration numbers, will those?
Those will be a little different, yes.
Okay.
We will need an
Okay.
updated set of numbers as well.
Okay.
We were
I
also,
presume that would be included, that's.
it is in that,
narrative,
it's
and I just
it's
haven't-
one of the first attachment there that has
Perfect.
the updated
Okay,
numbers.
so then I can
Yep.
include that as well.
Yeah, because we're noticing there was a couple discrepancies that, obviously, as we had progressed through the project, there was a couple discrepancies too that we wanted to clear up.
Okay, perfect. And then we also had, we had noted that we had received a request for changes to some of the special conditions that were issued in the original order. Some of them were kind of like some of them were related to the interpretation by either the applicant or the commission. Those, I think, sufficiently could be interpreted the way that the applicant, that you guys had proposed to interpret them. A couple of them had referenced the Shrewsbury Wetlands bylaw. That language can be removed from those as it is not applicable to this project. Let me see if there were any other conditions that the commission had additional comments related to. Yeah, so that was special condition 20, let me share this tab instead. Special condition 22 is related to the removal of the bylaw. Special condition 23 is related to the commission and agents thereof having the authority to come onto the property. This is in line with a standard condition as part of that's in the order. It can be interpreted as we will make arrangements to chat with you. I promise we will not just wander onto your job site. I don't want to fall into a trench any more than you want me to. The 31 and 32 were related to making sure that the site was stable at the end of the day. As you guys are complying with the construction general permit, that should be sufficient to meet that. And then, yeah, the language in the, this might be something that the commission may want to consider. The language in the special condition number 36 is related to receiving the name and contact information for the wetland scientist that's in charge of the replication areas. Mass DOT noted that they don't typically hire the wetland scientist prior to the start of construction, which is related to our condition. I don't know if the commission would be amenable to having it, them providing it prior to replication beginning, if that would be sufficient.
Or once they start work,
Yeah,
once they start the project,
yeah,
give you all the names of the appropriate people.
yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, providing, it might be, if it's sufficient to provide the, the general contact information of the contractors as they're established, so the site, whoever's in charge of the site, and the wetland scientists as they come on board. I think there were some special conditions related to us kind of having more regular check-ins as well. So it will be something that's kind of, as we are meeting to discuss how the project is moving forward, that will kind of be involved. We understand the limitation of Mass DOT not paying for the third-party consultant. We'll leave special condition 38. Special condition 43 is our typical condition for replication areas and receiving a report yearly related to that. Our standard deadline for receiving those reports is October 1. The applicant has requested a extension, I guess, yearly till November 15. I don't know if that would be amenable to the commission to allow an additional month and a half to vibe.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so that condition will be updated to reflect that. And then the other two conditions, special condition 45 and 46, are included in perpetuity conditions. They're related to planting native species within the buffer zone to wetland resource areas and not planting invasive species. I don't,
We should leave those.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're feasible. Most of the time, the Mass DOT erosion control mixes do utilize a majority of species from native
We're-
to the area.
Obviously, we're amenable to including those. The issue for our construction unit comes down to in perpetuity in terms of long-term maintenance of the project. We can't guarantee that in 10 years, non-native plants won't have gotten onto the project just due to how that works. So we're a little concerned about including that and being held to a standard that we can't comply with. We would obviously like to comply with that when completing the project, but in perpetuity is where we have a sticking point.
I would say during the course of the project, right, they would plant those native species.
Mhm.
And after they leave, you can't control what
Right.
migrates on to the,
Right.
to the
That's true
roadside.
that's true with every
Correct.
project we look at,
Yep.
though.
100%. We can amend that.
Yeah, so special condition 45 could be in the term of the project. Special condition 46 is related to plants on the prohibited plant list should not be planted on site. It might be something that it can be amended to should not be planted, like,
Planted
let's
by
not
the
go.
state.
Yeah, we won't.
We don't recommend knotweed as a stabilizer.
Planted by the.
Yes, are prohibited to be planted on
Right.
site might be the amendment to that language, just to kind of, so that, yeah, if it happens as is apt to happen in a corridor of travel, but yeah, intentionally planting invasive species,
Excellent.
maybe not the move.
Thank
I
you.
think that was it. Okay. That's my tale.
That's it. Any other questions from the audience? Any other questions from the applicant? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we amend the order of conditions for DEP file number 2041 for the Route 20 widening project with the amendments to the plans we discussed, as well as to the conditions that we discussed.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 You're all set.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
We have another new hearing. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Shrewsbury Wetlands Bylaw and Regulations that Raul Vargas, 312 South Quinsigamon Avenue, Shrewsbury, Mass., has filed a notice of intent for the construction of a home addition and porch at 312 South Quinsigamon Avenue.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Brian Hill. I'm a professional land surveyor and project manager with Land Planning Incorporated. I'm here to represent Raul Vargas at Quinsigamon Ave, 312 Quinsigamon Ave. Excuse me. The existing lot is majority lawn, and there is a rubble/boulder retaining wall along the lake. The shoreline is not in a natural state. We did a soil test in the yard, and it's fill materials, so there's not natural soil in the yard. We held the retaining wall as the wetland line, as the lake line. The neighbor also has a retaining wall, which 100 feet from that is the buffer zone. It's a very simple project. The client has a 500 or so square foot deck on the back of the house. He wants to take that down and replace it with a 600 square foot addition, and then build a new 600 square foot deck off the back of the addition.
Okay.
So we kept the limit of work line more than 50 feet from the wetland and out of the NHESB priority habitat.
Okay. So how will this be constructed?
This is going to be constructed with Actually, this is going to be on post because there's considerable ledge under it. I haven't seen the final architectural drawing, so I can't tell you exactly what the foundation looks like. But it is sitting on ledge, and the architect told me he was coming up with a post design.
So the building addition itself is going to be on posts?
According to the architect, but like I said, I haven't seen the final plan set from him.
Wouldn't we need that before, yeah?
There's significant ledge under the deck
Right, I understand.
at grade.
But we would kind of need to know how that is going to be supported and what type of excavation would be being done. So
Sure.
if you were to excavate that all out, that adds a significant amount of disturbance or work going on in that close to the wetlands. So we would need to know versus posts where you would just drill a post in and
Yeah,
support the
there's
building.
different,
Well, these posts would probably be attached to the ledge.
like
Yeah.
helical piers or?
No, there's, like I said, there's surface ledge right under the deck.
Okay.
So I don't think that that's possible. They'd have to do some sort of engineering drilling, and so I don't think the foundation has been fully designed yet.
Okay.
So we would need to see that. We would like to see that.
Understandable.
Emily,
I do not have questions.
Diane,
No, not right now. No questions.
Chris,
No additional questions.
Alea?
So are you anticipating that you won't need a letter from the NHESP?
We're not planning to do any work within the zone.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's, DEP did not have any comments related to this project, so just a
Oh.
note. I don't know if the commission would be amenable to receiving the foundation plan after the fact, or
I think
amending,
that-
or if they want to
yeah.
wait to.
I mean, if they don't have it designed now, so they wouldn't be ready to start construction without that. So I think we should at least kind of take a look-see and see what it is.
Okay.
We have sediment barriers fully surrounding the site and surrounding the work, so if it was a foundation pour, there is protection in place for that.
I just don't understand how it's going to be constructed if it's.
Yeah,
So-
there might be blasting, yeah, so you'd probably want to know about that.
So is it just?
I don't think they're going to do that. Like I said, the architect told me his plan is posts.
And then is it, so it's not two-story, it's a single-story addition?
Right now, it's like a 1.5-story building. I'm assuming it would match that roof height.
So we just need to see the details of
Yeah.
the building and how it's going to be constructed.
Sure.
We'd like to see that. And historically, that's what we've always asked for.
Okay,
So I think that's fair ask.
sure.
Anybody else in the audience have any questions regarding this? All right, so there are no questions. We do need some more information, so will you be asking for a continuance?
Could we make that a condition? No?
We need to see it,
Okay, sure. Fair enough.
so you'll,
I'd like to continue, please.
okay, perfect. Our next meeting is,
August 18.
we'll see you August 18th.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'll get you those architectural drawings. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am recusing myself.
Okay. We have a continued public hearing regarding the notice of intent filed by Tom Corbett on behalf of Go Venture Capital Group, 1 Mercantile Street, Suite 630, Worcester, Mass., related to the property of 525 Hartford Turnpike.
Good evening. For the record, Brendan Gove, President of Go Venture Capital Group, here filling in for Tom Corbett tonight. And with me is Andrea Kendall, LEC Environmental, on behalf of the applicant, Go Venture Capital Group, for the mixed-use proposed development at 525 Hartford. So I guess picking up from where I believe we left off at the last hearing, there were a list of a couple dozen or so questions, which we have answered the questions as in much detail as possible. So respectfully to the board, happy to walk through the Q&A one by one, or if there were specific areas you wanted to discuss or get more information on, happy to follow your lead, however you'd like to do that.
Emily?
I do not have questions related to the letter that was submitted, or this response letter. But I do have a question regarding your need to request waivers for the under the Shrewsbury bylaw, if any at all. The wetlands bylaw, if you folks have waiver requests.
Embedded in the NOI to date, I'd have to go back and look and, I guess remind me, is it the waiver to work within the no disturbance
Yes,
zone for the crossing specifically?
for the crossing, and I'm not sure if other areas overlap those zones. I was looking at the plans earlier, but I think
Yeah, I
we
think
could
that-
have an idea as to what would be needed and what we're voting on as far as waiving anything. That would be helpful.
I believe we respect all the setbacks for all the buildings and like all the limit of work in each area except for the crossing. And I could pull up the NOI, or if you have access to the PDF of the NOI, maybe just searching the word
Yes.
waiver and see if it was included. But is there anything?
No, I just wanna understand if we have to issue any waivers for this project, I guess.
Yeah, certainly for the crossing. And I don't know if that needs to be a waiver request that is submitted in writing, or if that's something that could just be verbally
I think
voted on.
if there are more than one waivers or areas that are subject to a waiver request, we should see like an outline as to what needs to be waived.
And I guess also for impacts to the IVW might be another one. Can certainly put that list together unless we can quickly come up with something, regarding that. My apologies.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, so I think there would be a waiver request needed regarding the construction of the crossing, because that's obviously a structure within the 30-foot and the 15-foot. And then the replication area would be disturbance within that 15-foot. So that would require a waiver related to work within the 15-foot, no disturb. And then it looks like my search and find. There's a requirement for replication of a 2-to-1. And it sounds like that's not feasible. I don't know. I don't know if we have gone through several iterations of the replication area though, so I don't know if it's expanded to kind of meet that 2-to-1 at this point, or.
Yeah, so if we look at just BVW impacts alone, we meet that 2-to-1. But if we factor in the requirements to include replication for the IVW, that's where we fall short. So we are something like 1 point. I'm going by memory now, and I apologize. It would be one of the documents. We've increased it from the original filing. But I don't want to quote exactly to what ratio that is.
Yeah, what the final ratio was. I'm not sure. There was, with the several different amendments, I'm not sure which one it popped into, which the replication area was increased,
And I
so.
can get that.
I also am not, I'm just putting this out here for other commission members, but we do have language within our bylaw that allows us to, at our discretion, increase the buffer zone or no disturb zone for steep slopes. And I think the area that is adjacent to the vernal pool on site is pretty steep. So I think that's like,
What's the slope on that?
it's pretty good one.
Let me move to a plan set instead of a,
So you're talking about
I want this one.
Where the buildings will be?
where the buildings will be?
Yes.
The commercial buildings or the residential?
No, the
Residential.
residential.
Okay. Those don't slope substantially as far as I,
Right, the
recall.
building footprint and that associated work is at the top of the slope, so it's not, no work extends onto that slope, descending down to the vernal pool. Wetland number 3.
Grading plan.
There's a, yeah, the channel and the BVW at the base of the hill. That does have pretty substantial slopes associated with the drive to the residential.
Right.
That might be something that, that might be something to consider. In terms, that would be where the most substantial slopes are,
That's like.
if that's what you're speaking to.
That's what I'm saying, but
See if I can.
you
I'm
have
sorry,
the
which part of the
sheet-
property are we talking about now?
I'm
Probably
looking
this-
at sheet
this one.
CE 1.03.
That's what I'm looking at too here.
Okay, so on the northerly, if it's north,
Right.
the top of the page,
Uh-huh.
the grades behind the building are pretty steep. I'd say that's
Yeah, they fall off the map there. You can't see the elevations. Whereas you can see them on the south side of the plan.
Oh, yeah, from 545 to 540.
Here we go. 549.
Where are you getting 549? Okay.
So the outlet of, of the wetland 3, it's, I would say, the outlet stream in BVW.
Sorry, let me zoom out a little bit so we can see more than just a slope.
Yeah. This is the stream that exits wetland 3. I mean, here, the slopes really aren't steep. It's just probably, I don't know if this is a fill area of the
It is a fill
project.
area,
That's a
yep.
fill area, so
Yep.
they're adding,
I'm not
they're raising the elevation here.
talking about the building, directly behind the building.
The vernal pool, so maybe that's a different,
Well, wait,
oh,
Looks like it's going to be 540. Is that the?
so this here,
all of this here
mm-hmm,
is pretty steep. Is that a correct assessment?
correct, that
That-
is, but they're at the top of
And they're not
the
gonna be
slope
doing,
with very gradual grading here.
so what is this area gonna be, I guess,
The,
finished?
Vegetation, yeah, natural vegetation.
Lawn.
You
Yep.
meant the finished floor
Probably-
space?
Probably landscaped lawn, I'm assuming.
Oh, I see
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Sorry, you said natural vegetation. Is that-
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, grass,
So-
yep.
will be
Okay.
seeded, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Because I recall some sort of like wanting this area to be accessible to the residents, or am I making that up?
I
No, that's
think
what
there
was
would probably
said,
be a
that people
connection
would
to
be
the
able to sit
conservation
back
land.
there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, ideally, I think that area is flat enough for, for it to be accessible for tenants to go back, to go back there, yeah.
So,
Do you even anticipate, I know the eastern section of the property is proposed to be put as conservation restriction land. Is there a proposed access point to that?
There's not, no.
Okay. Okay. Because, yeah, with it bordering so much of the wetland, having folks either muck through the wetland might not be the most fun for them, and also maybe not the most fun for the wetland,
Mm-hmm.
to remain resilient. If everyone's happily taking advantage of their conservation land space. Yeah. Yeah, identifying if there's an access point available to residents that would be not mucky. Or if there is needs to be a consideration that there might need to be a future filing of like, oh, we'd like to install a crossing or a blah blah blah, like a little baby crossing, not
Yep,
a
yeah.
big crossing.
Yep. It's something we've talked about. Honestly, the focus has been on the project itself, and the utilization of the land that would go in the deed restriction hasn't really been a big topic for us.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, certainly, if we wanted to access that, then a subsequent filing, we'd be happy to come back for that.
Yeah, with previous projects where conservation restrictions have been part of the project, we've seen that we've asked the applicants include who the include the information related to the conservation restriction to the commission when it's available. Either the grantor or the grantee, the documents related to the conservation restriction, if there are any like rules associated with it. Sometimes, you know, conservation restrictions can be real loosey-goosey or they can be real by the book. So it's a kind of, you know, what, you know, is some conservation restrictions allow whatever they might allow, horses, ATVs, barns, whatever was happening already. Obviously, this is pretty undisturbed area, but having an idea of what those rules will be. I can't imagine that you're gonna be having, you know, folks ATVing around out there, but
No.
having those rules in place
We
is
did
something
give
that the commission
kind of a-
requires.
Yeah, an example,
Yeah, that.
but that is still open for discussion. Something even conditioned to add to the order, you know, to come back and further refine this document. So,
Anything else, Emily?
I guess, so what will be, so the land adjacent to the vernal pool, what's the, like, cover type? The 15 feet, no disturb, is it treed, is it vegetated, what does it look like?
currently,
Yeah, and then
currently it's-
after this,
we can zoom in on, we do respect the, is it the 30-foot, I believe?
Yeah, here's the
There's-
30-foot is interior to the erosion control line, and then the 15-foot is along the erosion control barrier. Although
so
I
beyond
don't
the
know how-
erosion control barrier will be,
It'll be
15 foot.
in its current wooded forested condition.
okay,
Ground cover of leaves and whatever intermittent boulders and leaf cover.
I guess, that's it for me for now.
Okay, thanks, Emily. Diane?
I'm not sure that this is a question, it's more of an observation. I am concerned, I feel concerned that the pond that is, you know, downhill, that it's going to receive a lot of water that may not have been adequately treated, in part because of the ledge up there, if I am understanding correctly, and that does not sound good.
Well, if my recollection of the stormwater design is correct, because they are adding fill, that the subsurface infiltration systems are going to be in that fill with and providing. That's not the case.
I don't know if they can cite infiltration and fill.
Then I have my recollection of the stormwater is not correct.
Okay.
So with the stormwater, the source of the new water just being runoff from the site?
Runoff or
Impervious
the
surface.
pool being drained,
Impervious surface,
snow melting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anything that basically paved or a building that it rains and water sloshes off.
Yeah, so with our stormwater design, so there's runoff coming off the roof in our downspouts, and we worked hard to get the water actually volume to recharge the wetlands appropriately. So we were looking at the problem actually from the opposite side, where we were trying to make sure that there was a sufficient amount of water to replenish the existing wetlands. So I think that from the engineering analysis that we had done, that was the dilemma that we were faced with, was to make sure that there was a sufficient amount of water to keep the wetlands healthy. So I think that was, but the pool's an interesting one. So I know there's a question about if pool water were dumped, that it needs to be treated, and I think we answered that it would be. But yeah, I would agree that anything that we create as a result of this project can't impact the wetlands negatively, you know, and the calculations we've done from a stormwater perspective, I think support that the volume and velocity of water going to the wetlands is the same or less than, but within reason, what is happening now.
And so salt and things that drip out of cars, I'm concerned about those two things.
Yep. Yep. So we did add a signage for reduced salt area, and our plan is to use the same surface treatment that the town of Shrewsbury uses and other municipalities use for treating the area. So that was our plan there.
So talk to me about the reduced salt. How do you intend to do that?
Yeah, so we control from an operation and maintenance perspective. We would engage the contractor that would be servicing and snow plowing. So through our our O&M plan, we can provide you with that we would control how much the salt is distributed in those areas with signage as well.
The town has moved to a brine system, which is unusual for a private contractor to be able to provide a lot of the time. Obviously, brine can be used in specific scenarios prior to snowstorms, but we have been able to significantly reduce the amount of salt typically used. So I don't know if that would be something that would be able to be.
Yeah, so the condition would be that we use brine, and that's something that the town uses now
Yes, yeah,
in specific areas.
yeah,
And that's more of a pre-treatment.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it's detention that you guys have, not,
Not a-
Infiltration.
not
Underground.
infiltration.
Okay, thank you. I knew there was some underground system.
That'll
How are
slow
you
down
getting
the
recharge?
velocity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the total suspended solids, but I'm thinking salt and
Yeah. Mhm.
things that drip out of cars. Yeah. So they're a little different.
Oh, stormwater recharge is not possible at the site due to bedrock conditions.
Right.
This is new development, which has to, I have questions about that as well.
So my understanding, this has been peer reviewed through the stormwater peer review through the planning board. And so that was all the stormwater management regs and standards were vetted.
Okay.
I guess they're mostly concerned with flooding though, right?
I'm thinking about
not-
recharge
yeah.
to the wetlands. And if you're not providing any, how you meet standard 3. So I guess that would be something to review in the peer review report if they even touch on it.
Well, in terms of maintaining the hydrology for wetland 3, which is the vernal pool, that's where they're using the rooftop runoff.
Right.
And that'll be a 1-to-1. Yeah, the same amount of water that's going in today will be going in then. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, the Graves engineering or Graves review is in the May revisions
Yeah, I'm
under Graves
looking at it
technical
right
review
now.
letter.
Okay.
Graves noted that they did align with changes were made to reflect the watershed maps, so they look in order.
Diane, additional questions?
No.
Well,
Emily, did you have more additional?
The only other thing that I wanted to ask Andrea about was the beaver dam removal that you guys did, and if there were impacts to land underwater associated with that, because Mass DEP did acknowledge that when they revoked this emergency cert.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was, from my understanding, supposed to be addressed within the NOI?
The beaver dam was not removed.
Or how did you not lower
Part of
the,
Yeah.
what did you guys do in the?
Yeah, it was partially opened. The beaver dam is still there. But I guess our plan with regards to handling the beaver dam, either removing it completely or with a beaver deceiver or some other mechanism for allowing it to be there long-term, would to be under a separate filing. The beaver dam is located at 495 Hartford Turnpike. We have been in coordination with the church on a plan for that. So our thought was to come back to you with a separate NOI filing to handle a long-term solution for the beaver dam.
So there was no breach of the beaver dam when you guys requested the emergency certificate?
I don't know that. I guess it's hard for me to describe if breach is the right terminology or not. But it was opened up sufficiently to allow the water to come down.
Yes.
So if that's considered a breach, then yes.
Yeah, it wasn't totally demolished.
No,
It's just
no.
that part of it was taken down, and so the water level went down.
Yep, that's right.
Yes, so there was a loss in the impoundment of water.
Yeah.
Obviously, the crossing is more centrally located. Was there plans related to how that will be prevented from having beaver friends immediately scooch in there?
I know.
It had been part of our early conversations with Tom that needed to be considered of like
Okay.
how, because coming before us once the project is constructed, coming before us every 6 months to be like, oh my God, a beaver's moved in. That's something that we don't want to see happening, that like, oh, we need to remove a beaver every so often
Yeah.
that the beaver moves in. So having a plan of how to either coexist peacefully with that beaver or prepare for the beaver's advances
Yeah.
so that we
Same
don't
thing,
have to
isn't it?
fight with them every single
Yeah.
time that
Right.
somebody wants to move in.
Well, they've already been working with beaver deceiver people, so maybe that's more
With-
consulting.
I know previously there had been contacts with, what's his name? Tom? Was it also Tom?
Could be.
Tom and Tom? That's interesting. I know he works for a beaver company, but he is typically, I have seen more removal permits associated with him and his work and coexistence permits.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were able to work with a contractor that's more familiar with the coexistence process,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, if there's I know currently there's a box culvert proposed. I don't think I got to that comment in the acknowledgement letter of how you were looking, if there is dry passage allowed in that culvert.
And that has been accommodated.
Okay,
It's included in the detail.
okay. So that might be wide enough that the beaver is discouraged from doing that, but we have seen that they are wily critters.
So that could, certainly be a condition, special condition, because that would take some time to
Yeah,
identify and flush that out.
yeah.
Do you have any additional comments?
I don't think so, not at this time.
Do we have enough to close the hearing, or?
I would like more information based on our discussion today.
So can we give them a list of exactly what we need?
Okay, so we talked about identifying areas on site that need requests for waivers. What else did we talk about? I guess
Stormwater.
stormwater. I'm gonna, call Jeff Walsh tomorrow because I'm very curious about the site and not being able to recharge and how you get around that. But, and what, is there anything else we talked about?
The
Actually,
slope,
the
but
The slopes, but,
I think we got that kind of cleared up, right?
I guess.
Yeah. The other one I had was the treatment of brine, pre-treating brine with the brine system in
Mhm.
selected areas. We're happy to do that.
You know, this is just a thing that I'm floating. If some of the parking area up there at the residential buildings is pervious pavement,
Mm-hmm.
if that is plowed, then it needs very little, if any, salt on it, because the any water that's anything that melts there will go right down through and will
Mhm.
not freeze on it, so you don't get ice freezing on it. So it's an incredibly low salt approach to dealing with that. And I understand that there's ledge underneath there,
Mm-hmm.
but still, if the water could go down, I'm not sure with the ledge what that does,
Mhm.
but it would be much better for the quality of water that then ultimately ends up in the pond.
Okay.
I don't
Something else, Emily?
know.
I did have one additional comment.
Go
I
ahead.
know we had spoken, we've talked extensively about the proposal for the crossing. I had talked with Tom about about kind of expanding on how the final, the current proposal, the culvert crossing, why that was selected, because I think in initial hearings, we had heard that there might be other options available.
Mhm.
Are you able to expand on how the culvert crossing was selected?
Yep. So means and methods, and we're the primary driver. So we found that the amount of disturbance that we were proposing to do for both the box culvert or the bridge was approximately the same. And the bridge, the two bridge scenarios before we became like a suspension bridge type level construction, both did not provide the weight capacity that we needed for the trucks, that would be delivering materials on a regular basis, and potentially a trash truck, but probably not on a regular basis. But that was really the linchpin with us, is that the two bridge designs that were the only financially viable options, or reasonably financially viable options, didn't provide the weight capacity that we needed. So looking at the disturbance being approximately the same between the box culvert or the bridge is inevitably why we came back to the box culvert.
Anything else?
Nope, I think that was my.
Any comments from the public? Okay, so we'll be asking for a continuance, I guess.
Yes, yep, we've got a list of the additional information. We will gather that and we'll request a continuance, please.
Okay. Thank you. Our next hearing is on August 18th.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Continued. All right. Okay, we have a continued public hearing, got a notice of intent filed with Rashid Sheikh, 24 Sherrill Drive, Shrewsbury, for the construction of a single-family home, an accessory dwelling unit, and associated utilities and infrastructure within 100 feet of the buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands at 74 and 76 Grove Street.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Mitch Maslanka with Goddard Consulting, here on behalf of the applicant, and we provided revised site plans for the Commission to review. So we also had Ecotech attend the site visit a couple of weeks ago before the 4th of July to review the wetland delineation, as well as provide a comment letter requesting some additional info. So during the site visit, there was only one flag that was requested to be added to the wetland delineation, and that was only had to be added between two flags and pushed the wetland boundary buffer zones up about 3 feet in one area, close to the property line between 74 and 76 Grove Street. So there really wasn't much change to the buffer zone impacts there. Additionally, there were other comments from Ecotech. I'll go through them. So they requested that additional wetland flag be added. That has been done so. The 15-foot no disturb setback buffer zone line and 100-foot buffer zone line were labeled now. That was a request. We also added on the 30-foot no structure setback and labeled that accordingly. The erosion control barriers, there was a request to add a specification that they were staked weed-free straw bales. So our detail on the site plan made that adjustment in the erosion control barrier detail.
These are not the updated plans, just for the years were in front of
Okay.
you.
Let's see. There was some request for clarity with the subsurface utilities being installed nearby the existing culvert on 74 Grove Street. So we added the sewer profile in the top left-hand corner of the site plans. And what that shows is the existing culvert and its depth, and shows the proposed water and sewer lines being proposed further below the existing culvert. So for installation, we'll need a trench on both sides of the existing culvert and then poke through underneath the existing culvert to allow for the installation of the water and sewer lines. So that should have addressed that clarification. The stormwater, there's a question if the stormwater calcs included the stormwater that would be falling on the portion of 74 Grove Street, and if the stormwater from that driveway portion would be captured in our stormwater management system. And the engineer has confirmed, yes, that the stormwater management system is designed to capture the runoff from there, surface flow, and enter a stone swale shown here. That will take that flow and have it enter our stormwater basin.
Where is that swell?
So it's a riprap swale right here. So as stormwater rains down onto the driveway here, the driveway's pitched so that stormwater will flow down to this swale and then make its way to the stormwater basin.
And how big is that swell?
Looks quite long. I could get a approximation here.
Yeah, do you actually need riprap to go that far?
Here's the detail for that.
So it, here's our stone swale detail. So it looks like 30 inches. So that's, just over 2 feet. So about this wide, and then slopes going up. And I presume it's needed because we did receive a stormwater management permit from the DPW. So they did the thorough review and ensured that that was sufficient for the stormwater management. Okay. There was a note about the 2-to-1 and 2.5-to-1 fill slopes and requesting stabilization measures be documented on the site plans. So those are mentioned in the erosion control notes. There was a note already saying that slopes at a 3-to-1 slope needed to be stabilized in certain manners, and any slopes greater than a 3-to-1. So that note covered that, as well as the stormwater management document, the drainage report. Also had an operation and maintenance plan to address the stabilization measures. So that one is addressed. And then the final comment from Ecotech was there's a stream that drains off of 76 Grove Street down here. So we have stream flow coming down and then eventually leaving the site over here and over here. And there was a request from Ecotech to have the obstructions taken away from the culvert, and they had provided a photograph of, you know, a couple of wooden boards and some wire mesh that were just in the way, clogging up, you know, flow from going through the culvert. So we're more than happy to have that as a condition to just make sure that's removed.
Sorry, is that at the main, at the driveway crossing culvert or the downstream culvert?
The downstream culvert, yeah.
Okay.
There's no crossings associated with this, right? It's just a new, like a ADU in the buffer zone?
So, so on that screen you can't see, but there's a proposed single-family home outside of the 100-foot
Okay.
as well.
So there is a wetland crossing.
Yes, on 74 Grove Street, there's an easement that allows the owner of 76 to construct their driveway and install their utilities within that easement. And there is a crossing that exists today for the existing owners of 74.
Okay, I see.
Yep, so they drive up and go to their house here. So this drain pipe is what Ecotech and I believe you all had some questions about the utilities and how that would all be addressed. So we added the sewer profile detail on just to show that we are putting our utilities below that existing drain pipe, and the only work in that existing crossing area are those two utilities and the paving of the road. And then we had Mass DEP. They issued a file number. So on the agenda, I see question marks, so I'll just say it for the record. So it's 285-2047. And their comments, one of them was about the depth of the intermittent stream culvert. And so again, the sewer profile was added to address that DEP comment. And then two comments about stormwater management. One of them was specific to test pits being shown. So we did add the locations of test pits for the stormwater basin, which all are within the footprint of the bottom of the basin. And the test pit data was provided on the plan as well, showing their depths of certain soil textures and where they found groundwater, which these test pits did not have any water at the bottom of their test pits, 66 inches down. So we believe those addressed all of the comments from the peer reviewer as well as DEP, and also since we received the stormwater management permit, we believe we should be all set to obtain and order conditions if the commission would be amenable to that.
Okay. Emily, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Diane, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Chris?
Nope.
Alea?
I did have questions related to the extent proposed for the down, I'm gonna call it the downstream culvert. It sounds like Art had kind of spoken to removing some of the material. At this point, that culvert is non-functional. There's like major subsidence going across the top of it. Is there any opportunity to yoink it completely? Because it's not doing anything.
So based on the pictures, we'd be happy to remove what's there. you
Yeah.
know? So are you saying instead of just removing what's right in front of it, like whatever's kind of surrounding it? Or
Yeah, because it's not really there's like I can't remember if it's a concrete pipe that was there.
I think so.
Yeah.
it does look like a concrete pipe, yep.
That is not serving its function. It seems mostly the water is going around that pipe in any water that's coming from above is going around the pipe. Any water that's coming through from the wetland to the downstream channel and off the property is going around the pipe. So it's not doing culvert job anymore.
Mhm.
So I don't know if there's an opportunity to just fully open that up and just get it, because it's basically just like trash and construction debris at this point, because it's just hanging out.
Okay.
I don't know if there's an opportunity to like open it up a little more and remove some additional material there, because it's like an old, it's not even a cart path crossing, it's like just a,
But
pile
are
of
you saying
crap.
like take out the pipe completely?
yeah, because
And
there's just like a channel on the other side, and then it's wetland on the upstream side. Like, it's not
think it might-
conveying water.
Impact, like if they were connected at all, or I feel like that requires some deeper analysis than to just kind of like be like take out the pipe.
Yeah. It would improve the area, because it's not functioning
What
at
is
all
it,
at
though?
this
Like,
point.
is it in the driveway?
It's maybe 2 feet wide. No, it's completely separate. So there's like a culvert, a pipe crossing under the driveway
Yeah.
that is successfully connecting an upstream and downstream wetland.
Okay.
Then it fans out into BVW, and then that BVW makes its way to a very defunct culvert that's only about 2 feet wide.
And but
But it's just like stuff that's in the, like, it's just like a random, at this point it's just, yeah, it's literally random. It's like an old chunk of concrete and an old chunk of wood
did
and
art?
random wires
Is
and
there
stuff.
pictures of this?
Yeah. I was
Let me see if I,
guessing.
There are pictures.
if I don't have,
Guessing it.
It might be, is it Ecotex review?
potentially.
There are pictures down here.
Let me see if I can find that. It might not be something that's feasible for this project, but if there's an opportunity to improve a resource area, it might be. That is the
That's the one that's functioning?
upstream. Yeah, that is the functional culvert crossing.
But there's one right below there.
This one right here?
Yes.
Okay, so you, but that, it's on the Ecotech, you can share your screen.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. There's a tree of, looks like an invasive tree growing between the wood and the concrete,
Yes.
and some screen of some sort, like expanded metal, wire, hardware cloth, whatever.
Yeah, so on top of this too, there's major subsidence occurring, because any water that's falling across the top of the pipe is just like going in around it. So it's not like functional at all.
What would the condition be if it were to be removed? Is it an improvement, or I don't know. Now I feel like
Yeah, if
it's
there is just an
additional-
opportunity to remove some of the material from in front of it, that might improve the flow that's going through it, because obviously the water is taking the path of least resistance around the wood at this point. So it would improve it just to remove the debris that's in front.
I mean, why don't we just do that?
Yeah, is that an option, just to remove the debris that's in front of the culvert?
Yeah. Yeah, if that's
You
feasible.
can leave, I don't know how big those trees are, they look very small, but you could leave the trees probably even.
Yeah, it's just kind of vegetated around it, it's mostly.
So remove
Just
the,
subsidence
move the
occurring.
debris that's in front of the culvert that you can see, and
That's
then just leave it,
76.
alone.
Okay.
And then it'll either silt in or just grow up and stay there, and
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Neutral.
All right.
An additional recommended special condition related to either signage at the top of, at the, or maybe potentially a native seed mix on the slope, but associated with the detention basin to the wetland. Because it's a pretty well sloped area. If there's a possibility to install native vegetation in lieu of like grass, that might be something. And or any signage associated with that, just to make sure that it stays a native seed mix and doesn't become a manicured lawn area.
Right.
So like a strip of meadow or shrubs or.
Yeah, you could either you could do like a living fence of like a row of shrubs, so that the sloped area just becomes a little more natively vegetated, or if they still want access, if they do want, if it is like a native meadow mix or something, they would still need to mow it somewhat regularly.
Yep.
But maybe signage related to that of like, there's a resource area beyond this, not a good spot for dumping of grass clippings and, or this is to be maintained as a native
Or no dumping.
area. Yeah. Let me see if I can locate where that. Yeah, because from the ADU, it just slopes down. There's this swale in between, but there's like there potentially could be an opportunity to install native seed mix along that slope to reduce the amount of grassed area.
Okay.
So I think we have existing grass beyond our erosion control barrier. So it'd be sort of odd to have the break, if we had it on one of the slopes and then more lawn.
Yeah.
If there was desire for the commission to have some sort of thought on that, I'd almost want to say, instead of doing it in our existing limit of work, just seed in the area, within 5 feet to the wetland boundary. Like if you scroll up a little bit.
Sorry, scroll up or down?
Oh,
There we go.
down.
There you go.
See how, we have grass here, existing lawn from, 74 Grove Street. This land was subdivided, so there was already grass here. Instead of having there be like a sliver of that seed mix, I'd almost prefer that we just, do like a little 5-foot strip around the BBW to add that meadow there instead. Or just wherever the existing limit of lawn is, just, give it 5 more feet, instead of having this, sort of break there.
Is there an opportunity to do both? Return the grassed area that is beyond
Back
the
to
limit of
meadow.
work to meadow and then add some additional, then you wouldn't have any break in. Then you just have meadow.
Like to just have
Yeah,
here just become meadow.
yeah.
Oh.
From the probably the base of the swale to where it, beyond the erosion control where there is grass and probably shouldn't be grass.
Yeah, I think that would be okay to, I think the applicant would think that would be okay, considering we're, doing the house, we're doing the ADU. There is a separation between that area, so I don't foresee an issue, if we chose maybe from here, from the stone swale down to the BBW, just to have as a native, wildlife mix installed in there, but
Yeah.
if it's possible not to have too many restrictive conditions on that, like monitoring reports and stuff, if we could kind of do without that and have it more, on the day of the certificate of compliance, just ensuring that the area has been maintained as a meadow mix. I think that might be fair. You guys are all right with that?
Yeah, and then the time of year when that would get mowed would matter.
Yeah, so then that would probably be associated with the O&M plan
Yeah.
of just like as part of maintaining because the basin will need to be mowed as well. Is the intention as the base of the basin going to be a grass mix or is that going to be?
Yeah,
Okay.
so maybe we don't do any proposal with the basin in the sloped areas, just so we don't mess with the operation.
No, I understand that, yeah, but there's a mowing plan associated with the basin. So there could be an additional thing in the O&M plan related to a separate operation and maintenance for the meadowed area.
So why don't you just plant the basin with the meadow mix?
I think the concern with that is changing how the basin is operating, is that what you?
Yeah, I'd want to not mess with the approved stormwater management
Stormwater.
plan and keep that, as a mode system, and then just focus more on the land between the stormwater management features and the BVW boundary, and maybe, if you wanted it in the O&M plan, we could maybe just add one condition saying mowing is allowed of the meadow area between the basin and BVW.
Yeah. Well, it would be a limit of amount of mowing, because if you mow a meadow down, it does look like lawn, because it's all grass.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, there's actually, there are times of year that are more or less destructive to the insects in there. So, if there are hollow stems, they've got a lot of eggs that have been laid inside of them, and they overwinter in there, and then they need to hatch out in the spring. So if you mow them down in the fall, then you prevent that. And it's a cultural thing to get used to not mowing it down in the fall. But if by the middle of April, virtually anything that's going to hatch is hatched, unless it's a really weird winter.
Mhm.
And we still have snow until May, which is conceivable, but it hasn't happened in a long, long, long time.
Mhm.
So typically by the middle of April, all of that can be mowed down and it can start again.
So maybe we do, the signage at the base of the slope, just, minimal signage if possible. And then allowing that area to be mowed after maybe April 15th and then until a certain date.
5:15.
And I don't know, when do you think?
Yeah, probably once or twice a year at most.
Yep, and no more mowing.
Yeah, once, but you have to mow or you're going to get trees growing in there.
Yep. So,
And weird things.
so that
that
they're
we don't
allowed to
want.
mow after April 15th and maybe not after, I don't know, September to let it start growing through, or?
It will take off. Whatever is low and not growing very well, not growing very high, will be low in the spring. But by June, it'll get woolly. And by July, it could be pretty high. It depends on the plants. Some of them might be as high as 5 feet or 6 feet. Depends on what they are. Joe Pye will get really tall, and it might like it there. If there's enough sun and if there's some water.
Yeah, it's a
Joe Pye-
pretty sunny, it's a southern facing
Yeah.
slope, so.
He's asking if they can mow like after April 15th until like August 15th, during that period, and leave it untouched from April 15th. I'm sorry, from August 15th to April 15th the following year.
So, yeah,
So
kind
we
of
could
the
only
the
mow it
mowing
during the
window.
summer.
So if you would mow it in the summer?
I'm asking, like, only mow it during the summer.
So no, I mean, because that's when it's flowering. That's
Okay.
when it's really doing its
Okay.
thing.
So
we're
you'd
gonna
probably want a
give
more
them a
defined
window.
springtime window, so April 15 to, yeah, either May or June 15 would provide, and then that would be a sufficient.
Early May, yeah.
Yeah,
5/1? You want to say that?
yeah.
Yeah, we need to give them some dates. so that-
5/1 would certainly,
Okay.
yeah, you got the 2-week window there.
And that would just be something that would be added to the operation and
Yep.
maintenance plan.
Yeah.
To be associated with the long term.
Okay. Anything else?
Comments?
I don't think we have a copy of the final, a hard copy of the final plan set as is being presented tonight. If there's a possibility of submitting that, the commission may want to request that the new meadow mix be defined on the, a final submitted plan,
Right.
so that it's documented.
But I'm not sure how wet that is in that area, but,
It is all upland area, it's
Oh,
existing
okay.
kind of grass and meadowy
Yeah.
plants.
Right.
So you want to show on the plan where the meadow mix is going to go on your final
Yes.
plan?
Yeah.
So you can, if we close this, will you be okay? If
I would be
if-
comfortable receiving that, because that's a pretty small change
Okay.
to add, because this, I need to receive a hard copy of this plan even, so just having the small change made of adding the meadow mix and then resubmitting,
On this
Okay.
plan.
a
So you're
final
good with
plan
that.
set.
And then
Yeah, that would be sufficient to me.
Signage in that area would say what?
Did we
Yeah,
want to stick to
determine.
no dumping?
Yeah, no dumping,
Yeah,
conservation area.
yeah, conservation area, no dumping.
I have a question. Do you have a standard placard from Shrewsbury that you offer? Or?
We do not. We've seen a couple different, it's kind of, yeah, to the discretion of what is cute to the applicant, but
Okay.
displays the required information of conservation area, no dumping. You could,
Usually like a 12 by 18,
any additional
On a
information,
post.
yeah.
Sound
nothing
good?
crazy.
Yeah,
All right,
I think that's it.
that's
That's
it.
all I got.
Anybody in the audience have any questions? Anybody else?
Nope.
Yeah. All right, I guess we can close it.
Great. Thank you very much, Commissioner.
All right, new and old business. So we took care of the first RDA. Second one was continued, Deerfield was continued. Blue Street did not show.
Closed.
The Hartford
20.
Turnpike, Route 20. Would somebody like to make a motion with regards to the Route 20?
I
Widening?
think we did that.
Did we do,
Yeah, we
did we
did it.
make a motion to
We
approve?
made the motion and.
Oh, we did,
Emily did. and
pre-make a
Diana
motion.
approved it.
Okay.
We sure did. Okay, so here is that determination of applicability for 19 Forest Avenue.
This is for 19, okay.
Here is the Route 9 Connect Authority.
All right, so 77476 Grove Street, would somebody like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we issue an order of conditions for 7476 Grove Street with the condition that a sign be placed on in the conservation area that reads, no dumping conservation area, and that we condition, that the plans be updated. We didn't put that in the conditions?
Yeah.
Plans be updated to show the meadow mix on the plan in addition to the fresh plans from tonight, and that the mowing times of the meadow only be between April 15th and May 1st every year, annually, in the O&M plan.
Is there a second?
Oh, I'm sorry, I have one more recommended
Oh,
special
okay.
condition
Yes.
related to the removal of the debris in front of the
Oh,
secondary
yes,
culvert.
I'm sorry, that was also, yeah, that we also remove the debris in front of the culvert at 76 Grove Street, leaving the culvert in place.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay.
Right. This is 2047.
I don't have any recommended certificates of compliance to issue tonight related to the two outstanding on our thing. And then I'll jump into updates. So we issued several enforcement orders this month. One was for 285-2009. This was for 47 and 51 Lear Street. Let me pull up a aerial. 7 Lear. They had worked to, this was an approval to construct a garage and pool within the buffer zone. It looks like an additional retaining wall was constructed as well. So this, let me scooch this up.
This is the garage that's for the RV?
Yes, yes, the RV garage. Let me just delete this. So, this is in April of this year. You can see that a block retaining wall has been constructed along the water's edge. No work on the retaining wall at the water's edge was proposed as part of this project, and you can see that it does.
How far from the water edge?
It's on the water's edge. Sorry, let me do a split view so you
Okay.
can see. So this is September of 2025. Let me do actually
Okay, I see.
April of 2025. There's no retaining wall, and then there's a block retaining wall.
Oh, I see it now. I'm
So-
sorry, I didn't see it before.
No, yeah, it's all good.
Can you do that again, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and then go back.
Whee.
Oh.
This is near maps for you, Chris.
I know.
Look at these fun-filled aerials.
face.
Back and forth and back and forth, yes. You can also see there's pretty readily some unsecured slopes available on site. They've installed this slopes pretty readily up from the water's edge to the top of the road. It's probably, oh God. Kenny, what does that feel like to you? 20 feet of a height change? 30?
Oh, yes.
So from the road area up here at the main road to the water's edge is about a 20 to 30 foot change. I'm not good with numbers. It's a big tall hill. In order to access the site, they've installed some pathways to get trucks down there. So it's just a lot of unsecured dirt on site. They were able to install silt fence at the edge. there are still some concerns related to the number of unsecured slopes, and that's kind of related to the enforcement order as well of the addition of a retaining wall that was not part of any of the approved plans that we discussed, and the substantial piles of dirt.
And any of the work that was done down below, remember, they weren't going to do
Yeah,
any of that. They
yeah,
were
the
just going
proposal was
to
to-
have a little garden in an area that was already disturbed.
Yeah,
so-
that was up here.
Right.
Yep.
I'm just trying to find a picture to show everybody, I just can't find it. Here it is.
I remember the project.
So there's, see the wall that's in the
So it's
water.
4 courses.
So that I think was there, but there was other walls associated, and I think they
Oh, I see.
put them in the
That
water.
wall, okay, that wall. That's right. This was
I
existing.
believe that's existing.
This was new construction.
See it?
Yeah.
And see all the, they leveled everything off.
Mhm.
They went all the way across the front.
Mhm.
Did you see this?
So where are we with the enforcement order? We issued it and you're working with them?
If the commission would like to vote to ratify it, then it will go out fully ratified.
What does
mañana.
it say? Is it requiring them to restore it, or?
Is that it right
Here,
there?
I'll give you the
Okay.
sheet, you can read or you can sign while I. So the type of activity that was noted on site was the construction of the retaining wall at the wetland edge, which has resulted in alteration and fill within a resource area.
What's the order?
The
The order?
Oh, the
What are
order
we
of
telling them
conditions?
to do?
Oh, I apologize, yes. A cease and desist. The resource area shall be, so this was kind of for everything. So a restoration plan to be filed, a cease and desist, and then they shall correct. The restoration plan was associated with providing contact information for the site contractor, because that's been a thing of like not being able to get in contact with who's making big piles of dirt.
Right.
The slopes and disturbed areas should be restored and stabilized. And then the retaining wall that's installed at the water's edge should be removed and or permitted, but probably
Removed.
Sounds reasonable to me.
yes. It sounds like they're moving slowly through the building permit process because it sounds like they're having trouble with several of their permitting processes, but this one is related to that. Any other questions about this one, or are we ready to scooch along? Okay. The second enforcement order was issued, or is to be ratified tonight, is related to 101 North Quinsigamon Avenue. That is 285-2018. This was for the reconstruction of retaining walls at the water's edge. As you probably recollect, we have had ongoing issues with the retaining walls on the property for several years. We received a secondary piece of correspondence last month from the abutting owner from 103 that was reviewed at last month's meeting. They are also experiencing, 9799 has experienced failures and kind of disturbance to their landscaped edge. 103 is also experiencing disturbance and buckling of the retaining walls on their side as well. So it's kind of caving out in both directions. We're also still there's a lot of unsecured slopes located there as well, and it's been since many moons before winter.
Yeah.
I spoke with them about stabilizing those slopes, and now it's
Oh, yeah, you were trying to do it.
winter is long
Working
gone.
cold.
Are they like actively working, or, and then does anybody live there?
People do live there, yes.
But
As
not
far as I know, that every time I drive by, I don't see that any changes have been made to the upland area. And as far as I can tell from previous visits, from maybe December on, there have not been no changes.
Okay, yeah.
So they kind of just left it.
So what can we do at this point?
So this is the reissuance. So I think last month, the commission had discussed if there was an opportunity to kind of bring DEP into the conversation, because we've kind of done a lot of rounds of go around with the applicant, to not a whole lot of success. So I reached out to DEP related to that. They recommended that we issue another enforcement order, and include DEP on that enforcement order if we don't see action off of this. So this is where did I just put that? That's
Could be here.
so the order for this one is, There's not really work going on, so I didn't issue a cease and desist because there's not, there's nothing to cease or desist. I had recommended that a restoration plan be submitted related to, again, contact information for the site contractor so that we know who's on site and what's going on and who to contact. That the slopes and disturbed areas associated with all of the walls and all of the currently disturbed areas be stabilized. And part of the special conditions for the order that was issued were related to receiving erosion control reports regularly from the applicant to understand, to make sure that they were staying in line with their erosion control. I haven't received one of those in a number of months, so.
Alrighty, well,
So this is one more effort to issue another enforcement order against the property. This one, yes, we'll have DEP looped into it to see if
Okay.
there's any additional guns they can pull out. That's all I have on that.
Okay.
And then the last enforcement order is related to 285-2024. That's for 33 to 69 Green Street. This was an order of conditions issued for the construction of multi-residential units at 33 to 69 Green Street. They have had a lot of failures of their perimeter controls, and the last one resulted in they have a sedimentation basin on site that was discharging improperly and discharged sediment to the resource area in a couple of places. So we requested that they have a wetland scientist come on to review if there's any work that could be done there, and if there was no work that could be done to restore those areas, if there was any alternate restoration that could be done. So I'll turn it over to you.
I have a question.
Yeah,
What about the site itself? The site itself is all disturbed,
Yes,
and all the slopes are not protected.
yeah,
What are they doing? I drove through there this morning. There's nothing done.
yeah.
Have they been notified to do that? Do we need to ask them to do that and tell them to cease all other work and stabilize the site, is what they should be doing?
So probably the perimeter slopes are under the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. Any internal slopes might not be, I
Well,
don't know how they would fit into.
They are, because
Yeah.
they are washing away and they're crossing the road and they're going into, we can let,
Into the resource area, yeah.
you can, but that's where we're coming from. The whole site, all three areas are open,
Understood. So,
and you are.
just for the record, Scott Morrison from VHB. Also with me, I think online, is Essex Petrie from Pulte Homes. We received a enforcement order. Essex reached out to me, asked me to go. We met with the conservation agent, Essex, as well as the site contractor. We evaluated the site, looked at areas that needed improvements to erosion controls. Kind of the reports focused on impact areas. There were 4 areas where stormwater overtopped the erosion control barrier, and there were 2 other areas where there's stormwater discharges. So we've evaluated those. We've provided some recommendations. There's one area that's got about 6 inches or so of sediment within the wetland itself. Much of that was already being removed when I was on site. We're proposing to remove the remainder of that. There's 2 other areas in the buffer zone where there's about 1 inch or 2 of accumulation. We're proposing to rake that out, remove all that. We did look further down into the wetland. There was an area where it's got like 1/4 of an inch in pockets to a veneer. Based upon my experience, when you've got that little amount and there's really nothing for invasive species within there, what we don't want to do is go in there and make a mess just to pull out that little bit. And then there's 2 stormwater basins. The first one, which we have listed as Area A, is a discharge from that stormwater basin. There's like a sump and riprap at the outlet, and there's like 1/2 inch to a veneer at that location. Area B is kind of the main outlet from the stormwater basin. The water was getting out through the outlet as opposed to rising up and getting through the top of it, I think it was circumventing, weeping in, and then discharging. So there was some discoloration in the stream there. And like I said, about a quarter of an inch of accumulation right along the margins of the stream. Given that and the herbaceous vegetation, I wouldn't propose any removal there. So we're proposing certainly some cleanup activities in 3 distinct areas. Again, with erosion control, they were working hard to reestablish the erosion control barrier along that lower side. The remainder of the site, for the most part, it appears that it all goes down into that large stormwater basin. So they were also working on fixing the discharge from that. But I do understand there's
The
a
entire site
lot of
is-
site that's
The
exposed.
entire site is open, so I would suggest, and I'm only one person on this commission, that all work be stopped and all efforts be concentrated on mitigation. Here we are in July, and there is not one stitch of vegetation growing on that entire site. All the slopes are open, and I don't think this does not conform to your sequencing plan.
I
Oh.
was gonna ask.
There's nothing here that conforms to what you guys said you were going to do during construction. So, as just one person on this commission, and we'll discuss it, I would like to see a cease and desist of all construction activities and anything that, all efforts be concentrated on stabilizing the site. Slopes, tackifiers, all kinds of jute netting, the whole 9 yards, because the whole 3 areas are open.
Yeah, we did discuss that during the site walk. So they were getting stabilized, the slopes above the wetland.
But they're
One of the
not.
things
I
that-
mean, even today, this rain, it all
Yeah.
washed away. It all went across the road, down into the swamp. It happened again.
Yeah,
It's been
so
happening all summer.
It's certainly a concern, and I can raise it with Pulte and see if we can have the contractor.
You're gonna have to, because we're
Efforts
gonna, I think we're gonna issue a cease and desist to stop all construction activities and relate it all to stabilizing the entire site.
So this is Essex Petrie from Pulte here, and I appreciate what you're saying, and I do want to note that we do have areas that have jute and that have been treated, but fully recognize that there are areas that did wash out previously, and I haven't been out there since this last rain we got tonight, but we recognize that was a concern previously, and we do have netting out there, and
You didn't this morning.
and
There was not-
hydro-seeded.
Essex, there was nothing there this morning.
Have been treating.
There was nothing there this morning. Nothing. Zero. The whole site.
Well,
There was
I
netting when I was there.
appreciate that
On
you were out
one
there this
little
morning,
area.
but I do know for a fact that we have sections that have jute netting and that have been hydro-seeded.
One slope.
And we did speak after the meeting. I was talking with the contractor about getting that slope, I guess the big slope behind the building stabilized. And one of the issues there was they need to bring in fill, but the other issue was that they were waiting for, they've got to install piping and stormwater.
Not on the
Construction.
slope.
It's one portion of that slope, is my
Well,
understanding.
you should be concentrating all your efforts on getting that done. I mean, you need to get the site stabilized. And you need to come back to us next month and show us how you did it. And I do not think any other work should be happening. It all should be related to stabilizing the site. Those 3 sites, I call it 3. When you first come in off of Route 20,
Yeah.
the one where you go over the culvert, and then the one up on the hill. There's 3 sites that are all open. There's not one stitch of grass. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, it's certainly a concern, and I think I can work with, Essex and I can work together and put together a plan to work on stabilization and, efforts to try and button things up.
Have all of the so the perimeter controls were a main concern that were discussed at the very beginning of July, and so it has been several weeks since that has been pointed out. Have those all been restored at this point?
I believe that the contractor committed to having all those completed by the end of last week.
Okay.
I haven't gone to confirm that it was done, but we can certainly do that.
Okay.
But
So-
that's what was discussed, and that's what they were working on when we were on site, and
Yeah.
that was one of the main goals
Yeah.
and our emphasis to get that done, to make sure that there's no issues.
Because that was kind of the last
exactly.
line
That
of
was the
defense.
point of focus.
Sorry, Essex?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak over. I was just kind of reiterating what Scott was saying with that was our focus since our last site walk recently.
How does this conform to your sequencing plan?
Right.
The whole site is open. I mean, this was not part of the order of conditions in your sequencing plan. This is not. It doesn't, I mean, where's your construction engineer should be here? You should have a lot more people here. This is a very, very serious. I can't believe you have this whole site open like this.
I appreciate what you're asking, what you're saying. I honestly, our focus for this meeting and over the past couple of weeks was related specifically to the enforcement order that was addressing some of the breaches to the siltation fence and the erosion control barriers along the more of the perimeter. And we certainly can point our focus now that that has been addressed and dealt with on establishing or stabilizing, the areas that are currently not stabilized throughout the site.
Well, Emily, do you have anything to say?
I mean, I agree with you in that if I'm curious as to why the phasing went out the window or what happened there. That doesn't seem responsible to open the site like that. So I agree with Ken.
Diane,
Yeah, it's a very large site. Yeah, to leave unsecured like that.
Chris?
Nothing that has been said already. I agree with you on the cease and desist as well.
Yeah.
So, Alea?
I did want to note that we've contracted with, we'll have third-party engineering review on site. We're ironing out the details of that to have Graves out on the site to be looking at specifically. I'll be talking with him about kind of making sure that the perimeter controls are staying installed, and then with the number of pretty intense slopes across the site, making sure that those are, that will be part of their scope to make sure that those are being stabilized.
So what I would suggest is that the cease and desist remain in effect. All construction activities be focused on stabilizing the site, meaning everything should be hydro-seeded, even if it's temporary, jute netting should be put in. The site needs to be, it needs to be stabilized, the entire site. So I would suggest all your efforts on all those areas be concentrating on stabilization before you do anything else. And then you need to come back to us and prove that you did it next month, before you do any other work.
So,
So I
temporary.
appreciate that direction. I just, obviously, over the course of the next 30 days, a lot can be done even within getting, obviously for our phasing plan, we had set up a certain amount of, less than 5 acres or so to be undisturbed as we continue with the construction. And the ability to provide the appropriate stabilization throughout each of, as you mentioned, the 3 different areas, certainly won't take the course over the next 30 days. And, I asked maybe if there's an opportunity that we can meet with Aaliyah and the third-party reviewer on site to kind of check on status and our, kind of progress on stabilizing the site as appropriate. Stopping everything for 30 days is going to be a challenge.
Well, you should have done it, and it should have been all set for this meeting, and you didn't. So I would say come back to us next meeting and we can discuss lifting it.
But to be fair, this hasn't come up, this wasn't requested specifically of us prior to this meeting, so it was unknown to us that that was an
You
expectation
just
prior to
stated,
tonight.
but Essex, you just said to me that, yes, you opened up more than 5 acres and you're in violation of your sequencing plan. So you knew you were in violation.
We do have jute netting down, we do have
Not on the
stabilization
the
site.
entire site is open. Those 3 sites
right,
are all
it's-
open, except for the
it's-
slopes adjacent to the wetlands. Yes, you are correct. The slopes adjacent to the wetlands are stabilized. All the rest of the site is not. The whole site's open. So you need to concentrate all your efforts in the next month to stabilize the site. And then come back to us with a plan showing everything that's been stabilized.
So we might want to reissue, so the enforcement order that was issued included a cease and desist related to stabilizing the perimeter controls and getting those kind of secured, because that was kind of the most immediate thing. It sounds like a revised enforcement order should be issued related
When
to.
was that issued?
Do you have a date for that? Let me see if I can find.
It was the 13th
there
or the
on-
14th, maybe.
On July 10th, so I think that was issued, I think the Friday, I think it was issued that Tuesday.
Wednesday, July 8th, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, Wednesday, July 8th, the original so we had noted, we went out prior to July 4 weekend, to know
It's a mess.
for an initial inspection, we were seeing, failures of the perimeter controls at that point. We were anticipating rain, so at that point, we were kind of the team on site seemed to be kind of in a reactionary position, only prepared for things as they were pointed out. After July 4 weekend, we went out again. They were moving towards a direction of getting those perimeter controls a little more in line. But then we received an additional, not snowstorm, I keep trying to say that, rainstorm. It's summertime. A rainstorm that did fully blow out the perimeter controls. That's where the resulting enforcement order was issued. So Wednesday, July 8th is when we went out, saw that the perimeter controls had pretty fully failed, and there were multiple points where water was, sediment-laden water was making its way to the wetland. So at that point in time, the enforcement order was issued to address those perimeter controls mostly, because that was kind of the last line of defense and it was failing. So now it sounds like an additional enforcement order can be issued for a cease and desist specifically to address the stabilization of the site. So we're working kind of backwards in our lines of defense. We hopefully have addressed all of the perimeter controls on site. Now we can work in from there. So this enforcement order for the perimeter controls will remain in effect, because we'll keep it on to make sure that until I can go out there and see the siltation controls at the edge, and then obviously those will be maintained and we can see if we can lift that aspect of it, and a new enforcement order will be issued related to stabilization of the slopes.
You referenced the original enforcement order in the second enforcement order? Just to tie it together?
Enforcement order exception.
I don't think it
No, I probably would, yeah.
Maybe
It
just
might
note it.
become a little more all-encompassing of the perimeter controls as well as the stabilization of the slopes. Yeah.
And one quick question regarding that. If they can demonstrate that they're really moving hard and making great strides and efforts of getting some of that stabilized, can the commission provide some leeway maybe for your agent to make a decision that they can start?
Why does it have to come to this, Scott? I mean, you guys have been doing this for a long time. You're a very, very large company. I mean, the whole site is open. The only reason you stabilize the slopes adjacent to the wetlands is because Aaliyah came over and asked you to. But the whole site is not adhering to anything that was approved by us, or probably the planning board. So I would suggest you concentrate all your efforts in stabilizing that site and get it into compliance. Then come back to us next month and we'll see if we can lift it.
Our next meeting's on August 18th.
There you go.
Okay.
Come back August 18th.
Like I said, I was
All your efforts
I
on
just
getting
wanted
that
like
ready.
have some ability for some leeway, so when they, I
August
think-
18th, make sure it's all ready to go,
Okay.
and then we'll lift it, maybe.
So that has kind of been one of the, I guess the problem so far is that the perimeter controls were very slow to resolve themselves. So I understand that you did, the Marchionda team that was on site was working very hard, but they had a pretty limited team. If there's an opportunity to expand whoever is working on stabilization and maintenance of erosion controls on site that should be a priority, because the pace that was moving for the perimeter controls should not be the observed pace for the stability of the slopes. If we're seeing that can move along a little quicker, because it's been pretty glacial in terms of seeing, like, I was out there multiple times and I was still seeing the same things.
And quite frankly, the only thing that was different from the last time I was there was that the slopes adjacent to the wetlands were stabilized. Other than that, nothing else has changed. So the whole site is open, and it needs to be taken care of. And
So that, I would say that the smaller Green Street site, there's the I'm going to call it the small Green Street site, the large Green Street site, and then the South Street site. So the smaller Green Street site, a lot of those slopes are in place and pretty well stabilized. They have installed, they have hydroseeded. A lot of that hydroseed has come in. They had anticipated doing additional hydroseeding on the smaller South Street or Green Street site. Has that been conducted?
I'm not sure if it was done today before today's ran.
Okay. Because I know we had discussed that at
Yep.
one of my on-site meetings with Marcionda. So that one was in pretty good repair, the smaller South Street site,
it still looks like there's
or smaller
nothing
Green Street site.
on the site itself where those.
On the flat top, on the flat top, it's
There's
pretty
nothing,
open.
there's nothing there to stop water running off into the street, down the street, into the wetlands. There's
Yeah.
nothing there to stop it.
Yeah,
No
and we
s-
just opened we have just started opening up our concern also is related to the South Street site, where we just opened a fresh pit of dirt. So that's additional erosion that we have to worry
Yep.
about, basically.
So
So
that's where we're at.
Understood. We will get on it first thing tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next month.
Thank you.
Okay, so I will give you that enforcement order, and I will revise that mañana to reflect the slopes.
I just knew that this was gonna be a problem. Any of these large sites, that's why when 525 comes in, like,
I have a couple more
There-
items to get through, and then we'll scooch into it.
so frustrating.
Yeah.
Like,
So the last, do I have a second item? The last update that I have is related to a letter issued for we received a request for the dispersal of ashes in Lake Quinsigamond. I did not anticipate that would be an issue, so I drafted a letter providing formal authorization that they could go nuts.
we have control over the cereal bowl and not the cereal habits.
I thought there was another thought in my head, but it's gone now. So if you don't have any questions about the dispersal of the ashes, that's all the updates I have.
Anybody else in the audience has anything to say? No? Everything okay? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we adjourn for the evening.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.